Today's news.
Gaza airstrikes. The scale of the devastation here is hard to fathom. Efforts to deliver aid.
We are repositioning supplies and ready to go.
Opposing Jim Jordan.
If Republican holdouts, their opposition is bulletproof.
Good morning. I'm Steve Kathan with the CBS World News Roundup. President Biden's back in Washington after his trip to Israel to demonstrate U.S. support. In Gaza, there's been no let-up to Israeli airstrikes targeting Hamas. CBS's Imtiaz Tayeb.
Israel strikes on Gaza are only intensifying. This time, a residential building was hit just yards from another hospital, the Al-Quds Hospital, as civilians and medical staff take cover inside. According to the Palestinian Ministry of Health, over the past 24 hours, 678 Palestinians have been killed in Israeli strikes, mostly women and children, including at the northern Jabalia refugee camp, as rescuers desperately try to pull the survivors from under the rubble. There are so many dead, they're running out of body bags.
Correspondent Holly Williams has details on the aftermath of the deadly blast at a Gaza hospital.
Israel categorically denies it was involved, and an American official tells CBS News the U.S. has its own intelligence, which gives it high confidence that Israel was not responsible. Israel's also released what it says is an intercepted conversation between two militants. It's from us. Ask one. It looks like it, replies the other.
On Air Force One, returning from the Middle East, President Biden said a phone call with Egypt's president solidified the hope that aid will soon be sent to Gaza, perhaps as soon as tomorrow.
He agreed that what he would do is open the gate to let up to 20 trucks through to begin with.
White House correspondent Ed O'Keefe says the president will be in the Oval Office tonight.
The White House says the president's speech tonight is designed to lay out how the U.S. will respond to the Hamas attacks on Israel and to the continuing war in Ukraine. CBS News has learned the White House is preparing to ask Congress for roughly $100 billion over the next year. It would address the conflict in Israel, and that would include ensuring Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system is fully supplied. But most of the money would fund the ongoing war in Ukraine, urgency of combating Russia. It would also provide more security assistance to Taiwan as it faces aggression from China, plus U.S. border security funding.
President Biden said a top U.S. priority is winning freedom for the hostages held by Hamas. 13 Americans are unaccounted for. One of them is Omer Nutra, who was raised in the U.S. but served in the Israeli Defense Force. His mother tells CBS's Jim Axelrod they lost contact with him right after the Hamas attack began.
Tears come at night. I've been showering so much because I cry in the shower, and I'll just let it out. And then I come out, and I have to refocus again.
At the U.S. Capitol, at least 300 people calling for a ceasefire were arrested on the grounds after police warnings were ignored. The FBI is warning of potential new threats inside the U.S. because of the Middle East turmoil. CBS's Catherine Herron.
The new bulletin reviewed by CBS News warns that individuals or so-called lone offenders inspired by or reacting to the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict pose the most likely threat to Americans. The bulletin confirms an increase in threats to the Jewish, Muslim, and Arab communities, including reports of physical assault, bomb threats, and online calls for mass casualty attacks.
CBS's Nicole Killian tells us there will be a third vote today for Speaker of the House.
In the second round, a speaker has not been elected. A second strike for Congressman Jim Jordan. 4 GOP lawmakers initially backed Jordan but switched their votes, including Iowa's Marionette Miller Meeks. She said she's getting credible death threats and a barrage of threatening calls, but will not bend to bullies. And New York's Nick LaLota, who hasn't backed Jordan, shared a threat he received, telling him to go F himself and die. Jordan has condemned all threats against colleagues, writing, "It's imperative that we come together." There's a growing push from both sides of the aisle to potentially expand the powers of interim Speaker Patrick McHenry so the House can resume legislative business.
4 minutes after the hour.
Well, that's today's news. Today's news. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. I guess it's all about perspective. The glass is half full. Well, as always, I'd like to thank you again for coming along with me on these Dash Cam News adventures. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that he'd be